There was no one Carol Burnett hated more than him. The real name of Carol Burnett is Carol Creighton. In San Antonio, Texas, on April 26, 1933. Burnett was mostly raised by her grandmother in a simple Los Angeles apartment. She grew up in a difficult setting because her parents were alcoholics and they had money problems. Even though things were hard for her, she found that imagination and humor helped her deal with life's problems. She often kept herself and her friends entertained with silly acts and her ability to imitate others. With plans to study journalism at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, Burnett's rise to fame really started, but her goals were quickly changed when she fell in love with the performance arts. An unidentified donor gave her money to move to New York City and try to make a living as a theater actress. In exchange, she promised to help someone else in need one day as a way of repaying the favor. This act of kindness would later come to represent Burnett's whole way of life and work, based on thanks, kindness, and paying it forward. In the 1950s, Burnett got her start on TV by appearing on variety and talk shows, most notably The Gary Moore Show. There, her physical comedy skills, expressive face, and natural ability to go from outrageous humor to sincere seriousness made her stand out. Her most famous performance was of the song "I Made a Fool of Myself" over John Foster Dulles. It showed off not only her comedic timing but also her creativity and courage in making fun of even the stranger topics. People liked how honest she was and how she could laugh at herself, which would become her traits throughout her career. When The Carol Burnett Show first aired on CBS in 1967, it was the culmination of her working life. At a time when men mostly hosted variety shows on TV, Burnett broke the rules by becoming the first woman to host a long-running variety sketch show during primetime. The show ran for 11 seasons until 1978. It was a wonderful mix of sharp satire, great character work, musical acts, and sketches that people will remember forever. She was great at many things, like playing the awkward secretary Mrs. Wiggins, the always messy Eunice in the family sketches, or making fun of old movies and complex spoofs like Went with the Wind. Burnett had a huge range and was not afraid to try new things in her work. Some of the most memorable moments in TV history were made possible by her relationship with Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, Tim Conway, and Lyle Waggoner. Outside the screen. The QAs with the audience that Burnett did at the start of every show became a symbol of how friendly and approachable she was. As she walked onto the stage in her evening gown, she would answer questions from the crowd with honesty, fun, and a willingness to share personal stories. Her willingness to be open with people made them feel like they knew her personally. Burnett won a lot of awards over the course of her work, including several Emmys, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Golden Globes. She also won the Kennedy Center Honors in 2003 and the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2013. These awards solidified her reputation as not only a comedic genius but also a cultural leader who paved the way for many women in entertainment. In addition to her work successes, Burnett has shown a lot of courage in the face of personal problems. She went through terrible things with her family, like losing her daughter Carrie Hamilton to cancer in 2002. Since then, she has been open about her sadness, her strength, and the healing power of humor. This has helped others who are going through similar hard times. Her autobiographies, like One More Time and This Time Together, are honest and moving accounts of her life, work, and the people who helped shape it. Carol Burnett had an impact on almost every part of comedy and entertainment today. Many performers, including Tina Fey and Kristen Wiig, have been inspired by her ability to combine physical slapstick with smart, character-driven humor. Her role as a female host in a field dominated by men continues to be seen as a symbol of what is possible with talent, determination, and grace. Even though she is getting older, she is still in movies and TV shows, making people laugh and showing that her comic spark has never gone away. Carol Burnett's personal life, especially her marriages, had a big impact on how she became the famous comedian and TV star she is today. He was her college boyfriend, and they got married first. They got married on December 15, 1955, which was the start of a new period in Burnett's life as a young adult. Burnett was still building her job and getting used to being an adult at the time, but they had problems in their relationship that caused it to end, and they got split in 1962. This time was important for Burnett, as it happened at the same time as her slow rise to fame and move into the entertainment business. It created a complicated emotional base while her work demands grew. Not long after she split up with Saroyan, Burnett met Joe Hamilton, who changed her life in a big way. She married Hamilton on May 4, 1963. He had a big impact on both her work and her personal life. Joe Hamilton was a TV director with a lot of experience in the business. They had 8 children together after getting separated, which made things more complicated and interesting in their new family. Being the brother of actress Kip Hamilton gave him an even stronger link to the film industry. Hamilton started dating Burnett professionally when he put together her famous 1962 Carnegie Hall show, which mixed comedy and music and wowed the entire crowd. This project quickly turned into a lifelong relationship. Hamilton helped make a lot of Burnett's ideas happen, including The Carol Burnett Show, which became one of the most popular variety shows in TV history. Not only did they become married, but they also worked together creatively, which helped Burnett's business reach new heights. They dealt with the stresses of show business while having a family together. The couple had 3 girls, and it must have been hard for them to balance the needs of a busy home with the demands of making TV shows. Even though they seemed to be a great match, Burnett and Hamilton's marriage had its problems. After being together for more than 20 years, they got a divorce in 1984. The fact that their daughter Carrie was addicted to drugs was one of the hardest things they had to deal with. Because of this terrible family situation, Burnett and Hamilton became advocates for parents who are going through similar things. They talked openly about how hard it was to deal with addiction in the family, which helped destigmatize the subject at a time when people usually didn't talk about these things in public. They also raised money for the clinic where Carrie was treated to help with her healing. This showed that they were committed not only to their daughter but also to helping others in the community. In 1988, Burnett and Carrie went to Moscow to help open the first Alcoholics Anonymous group in the Soviet Union. This was a big moment of healing and coming together. This trip was a big part of Burnett's plan to help break the silence about addiction around the world and support recovery groups everywhere. This action showed that she was ready to use her fame for reasons other than entertainment. Joe Hamilton died of cancer in 1991, which was a sad end to a very important part of Burnett's life. The end of a long and important partnership, both emotionally and professionally, was marked by his death. In the 1980s, when she was having personal problems, Burnett also used her voice for public health causes, such as a well-known Medic Alert program. She got the 1 millionth Medic Alert bracelet as a symbol of being the 1 millionth member of the organization. This showed that she was a trusted and respected public person who could raise important health awareness. After many years, on November 24, 2001, Carol Burnett got married again. This time she married Brian Miller, a talented drummer who was 23 years her younger. This marriage showed how strong and willing to start over Burnett was, even after the hard times she had been through. Her connection with Miller showed how lively she was and how willing she was to find love and companionship, no matter what other people thought about her age or past. These connections together make up a rich tapestry that shows not only the private side of Carol Burnett's life, but also her strength, compassion, and ability to use her personal struggles to bring about change and help others. Her marriages were linked to important moments in her career and personal growth. Together they painted a picture of a woman who has lived fully, loved deeply, and made a lasting effect on the world in many ways. People in the public eye often say that Carol Burnett and Harvey Korman's relationship is a complicated mix of deep love, professional friendship, and artistic brilliance. But beneath the surface of their famous comedy work together, on The Carol Burnett Show, there was a rougher and less well-known emotional current. Many people say that Carol Burnett was feeling things that were much deeper than just being frustrated at work. No one in her life made her hate Harvey Korman more than he did. This strong dislike didn't start overnight or after a single event. Instead, it grew over years of working closely together under the tough conditions of TV production. While people watched their sketches and remembered how well they worked together and how well they got along, Burnett was having a hard time balancing the man she worked with the man she sometimes really disliked. Korman's difficult attitude and quick temper were big reasons why Burnett was angry with him. Korman was known to be moody and unstable, and she would often lose her cool over small complaints or stressed situations. Burnett came from a humble home and had a strong work ethic, so this strange behavior was not only rude, but it also made him feel very upset. She thought that Korman's moods could ruin the creative atmosphere they needed, causing anxiety that would sometimes make the whole cast and crew sick. Korman's occasional haughtiness and sense of entitlement were also said to have hurt Burnett. Both Burnett and Korman were very talented, but Burnett often felt that Korman didn't appreciate what she did or the sacrifices she made to keep the show going. She thought he sometimes took credit for too many things and wasn't grateful to people who helped him get ahead in his work. This lack of respect hurt Burnett a lot, especially since she was already feeling insecure and having a hard time in the male-dominated showbiz world at the time. There were also disagreements between people that made things worse. Although Burnett was known for being kind and caring, she often got angry when Corman was rude or cold to her. In private, their relationship off camera never turned into a real friendship, and Burnett sometimes felt alone and mentally unsupported. The fact that this personal break was so different from the happy public image they put on made her hate them even more. Years later, when she was interviewed, Burnett was honest about how she really felt about Corman. They were confusing and hurtful. She said that even though she thought he was funny and knew he was talented, there were times when she couldn't stand him. Sometimes her frustration, anger, and sadness were so strong that they almost turned into hatred, especially when they were arguing or when Corman's behavior ruined the peace at work. Burnett and Corman had a strong dislike for each other, which was made worse by the fact that they spent so much time together on the show that the bad times were hard to avoid or ignore. Unlike working with casual coworkers, their relationship required closeness and close cooperation, which made every irritation or complaint sound worse. Because Burnett wanted to keep up her professionalism, these feelings were made even heavier for her. She had to hide a lot of her anger during